Everyone. On behalf of our Commissioner, Molly Makusaman, the LPGA Professionals National President, Marba Bernard, and the Chief Teaching Officer, Nancy Henderson, as well as our National Member Growth Committee, I'd like to welcome you to the 2024 LPGA Professionals Career Fair presented by Golf Galaxy. Tonight, you'll hear from golf industry business professionals who are or hire LPGA golf professionals. They'll share critical information as you look to attain LPGA professional certification or membership. So sit back, relax, take some notes. Feel free to jot down your questions as we go because there will be a Q&A in the end, okay? So when we talk about LPGA professionals, the LPGA professionals are part of a larger organization, right? So there are LPGA tour players that you see playing for trophies and awards on television. And then we have our LPGA amateurs, which are 15,000 plus members of all golf abilities throughout 130 global chapters, enjoying and loving golf. And then we have our LPGA USGA Girls Golf, which, of course, we celebrated our millionth girl last year. So that's exciting. When we talk about the LPGA professionals, we are more than 1,800 members that are dedicated to the advancement of golf through teaching, managing facilities, coaching, fitness, travel, research, just to name a few. Now, these are also the individuals that you'll find in your local Golf Galaxy store, so you can be confident and be secure in making Golf Galaxy your trusted advisor for all things golf, okay? Now, in 2020, the COVID-19 virus was declared a pandemic. And playing golf was probably one of the very few things that we were all allowed to do. And this really created a boom in the golf industry. Well, now as we settle back into the new normal, we must pause and kind of take a pulse on where the golf industry is right now. And to do that for us as we begin to think about careers in the golf industry, we have Lorin Anderson joining us to give us a state of the golf industry update. So since 2007, Lorin Anderson has focused on helping talented golf instructors grow their businesses and their teaching skills as the founder of the Proponent Group. Before that, he spent 17 years in golf media. So he's had his finger on the pulse for a while. His expertise in golf instruction as a craft and a business was developed over a decade as managing editor for instruction at Golf Magazine. As managing editor, he was best known as the creator of the Golf Magazine Top 100 Teachers list. And it was the first ranking of teachers anywhere and has now been copied by golf publications around the world. From 2017 to 2020, he took on additional duties as Golf Channel's Vice President of Instruction and was involved in managing a variety of the company's instruction-related properties before returning full-time to Proponent Group. Also, one cool thing, Lorin's wife, Cheryl, is a two-time LPGA Professionals National Teacher of the Year Award. So to share more about the state of the golf industry, please help me welcome Lorin Anderson.
Thank you, Ashante. Really appreciate that. Most of you do know my wife or know of her. She's the famous one in the family. I just sit at the desk and do the background work all day. And one of the things I get to do all day is really take a look at the overall industry. We work with about 500 golf pros. They're all teachers, really. And one of the things we are always trying to keep an eye on is what the 30,000-foot view of the industry is and how that might affect teachers and coaching going forward. So I do spend a lot of time looking at the data out there. And I'm going to share my screen. And in about 7 minutes here, I think I can walk you through sort of where we've been recently, where the industry currently is, and looks like we're sharing now, where we've been, where we currently are, and some of the data that's showing maybe where we're headed. And that might give you a better idea of whether or not it's time or a good time for you to enter the golf industry if you're deciding on whether or not you want to turn professional and, say, become an LPGA member. One thing I would say is always a bit of a cautionary tale. This is a picture of Tiger Woods 24 years ago at the US Open at Pebble Beach on his way to a 15-shot victory. It was the beginning of the Tiger Slam. He won the next 3 majors in a row. And as we headed into 2021, the golf industry was absolutely giddy. We had TV ratings that were 300 or 400% above what they had been We had the most famous athlete in the world waving the banner of golf, and everybody was paying attention to the game. And we all thought this is going to be amazing, and we're going to see this incredible growth in the game. Well, what we didn't realize was Tiger Woods actually brought viewers to the game and brought fans to the game, but he didn't bring more golfers. And in the 10 years after peak Tiger and the Tiger Slam, we actually saw about a 50 million round decrease in golf being played. And that decrease lasted throughout the teens. And as Ashante mentioned a minute ago, until this COVID virus showed up, and there's really nothing worse than a pandemic and all the horrible, crazy stuff that went with it. If any industry benefited from COVID and the pandemic more than golf, I don't know what it is. It has been absolutely stunning, the turnaround in the golf industry over the last 5 years. In fact, over the last 5 years, we have now seen about 100 million more rounds of golf being played annually in the U.S. Since 2019. In fact, last year was an all-time record, where we had gone from about 450 million at our low to about 35 million. And we're actually on pace to be up in our couple percent this year so far, which would put us at about 550 million, or 100 million round increase in play. And that's the most important number, because all the other spending trickles off of that number for sure. Things like balls being sold, clubs being sold, golf vacations being taken, all those things are dependent upon rounds played. And in fact, the number, or the percentage of clubs and balls shipped over that same 5-year period has increased 55%, which is astounding after almost 2 decades of stagnant growth in the industry. Another area where we've seen a tremendous amount of growth and a tremendous amount of opportunities for careers are in indoor golf facilities. Many of our golf instructors that we work with have actually gone indoors. They've built out their own studios. They've built out places that sell memberships indoors. And the indoor facilities replace a lot of the outdoor ranges that have disappeared over the years, that have been swept up and being turned into condominiums or other usages of those outdoor space and land. So we're seeing this sort of a backfill of the loss of the driving range world into people now training indoors. And this is a big side of growth that we're seeing in the industry over the last 5 or 10 years. So the industry is in a really good place right now. But if you're going to come into the industry, what does the future look like? And I'm just going to focus a little bit on the pipeline. And the main pipeline long-term is what's happening on the junior side. Are we seeing the next generation of golfers coming into the game? And there's a few stats that just came out recently from the National Golf Foundation, which compiles these statistics for the industry. And they found about 1.8 million more juniors are involved in off-course golf, which is Top Golf, indoor simulators, things like that. And that's an 82% growth in off-course juniors in the past 5 years. We've also seen about 1 million more juniors playing on golf courses in the last 5 years, which is a 40% increase over the previous time period. And congratulations to the LPGA, as Ashante just mentioned a few minutes ago. More than 1 million girls have been touched by the USGA, LPGA junior golf programs, and it has changed the perception of golf for junior girls. When I was growing up 30, 40 years ago in high school, maybe 10%, maybe 15% of junior golfers were girls. Now it's up to 36% and still growing. So if you're a woman looking at coming into the golf business, there's never been more girls coming into the game than there are right now, which is a great opportunity for all of you. And the Aspen Institute, if you're saying to yourself, well, are all sports doing better because of COVID? And are they all going to start, regressing back to the norm or back to the mean now that, we're a few years into this and the bubble may be bursting? Well, I will tell you, the Aspen Institute tracks all junior sports, and they show very clearly that golf is the fastest growing of all measured junior sports for 13 to 17-year-olds right now. And they track over 24 different sports. So in a lot of ways, we're seeing a wonderful setup for the next 5, 10, 15 years where the junior side is growing quickly. Currently, we're seeing record rounds played. And it's a bit of a turnaround from where we were. So if you were looking for a time to enter the golf industry, I would say pretty clearly now is probably one of the better times we've ever had to take up golf as a career. So hopefully I answered the question for you. And if anybody ever has any questions about where the data came from, you're welcome to message me, and I'm happy to get you the original data.
Excellent. Thank you, Lorin.
Thank you.
That's great information, right? So we all felt like that boom was happening, but there's nothing like having the data behind it to let us know really exactly where we stand. So it's not a guesstimation. Awesome. So now I would like to bring on our panel of guests. So we have industry business professionals that will share some information with you. Again, still feel free to garner your questions because we will have a Q&A. And so I'm going to take this time now to ask our panelists to introduce themselves. Okay. So I think we will have our panelists pop on the screen for us as they speak. So first, Julianna, can you share and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Julianna. I'm 26 years old, and I work at Golf Galaxy in South Florida. I've been teaching for about 2 years now, and I've been in the golf industry for about 4. I started golfing when I started high school, and I heard about the LPGA Professionals. I knew them from golf already, but I kind of really learned about the teaching education program and becoming a member through Golf Galaxy when I wanted to pursue teaching.
Excellent. Awesome. Next, Nathanael.
Hi there, my name's Nathanael Whinery, and I'm a specialty field recruiter for Golf Galaxy. I guess I started playing golf probably 35, 36 years ago, and I've been in the golf industry now for 13 years. So my focus is finding specialty golf talent, mainly salaried managers, LPGA and PGA pros, to fill those roles in Golf Galaxy and Dick's House of Sport.
Nice. Excellent. Next, we have Brittany.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Lott. I am a sales rep for a Acushnet company, mainly Titleist here in the Atlanta area. I'm an LPGA member proudly, 10 years. I brought my pen. So yeah, and I just basically service the Atlanta area and sales for everything Titleist. So
Excellent. Awesome. Kamille.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kamille Ramos. I'm the Director of DE&I Culture and Community at the USGA. I've been with the USGA for 8 years, and unlike many of you, I did not grow up as a golfer. I played college soccer, have always been around golf through family members, but really was looking to elevate my career and wanted to identify a role in sport. And I came across my dream job at the USGA. And so for the last 8 years, I've been responsible for building out programming, recruiting, as well as an emphasis on our diversity and inclusion strategy and really developing the next generation of talent and finding untapped talent.
Nice. Excellent. And Wendy. Thank you, Kamille.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy Caves, the Chief People Officer for Tomorrow Sports. I've enjoyed a wonderful career in the golf industry for many years, both with the PGA Tour as well as the LPGA prior to joining Tomorrow Sports. So looking forward to chatting with all of you tonight and sharing a little bit more about what we have in store for the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wendy. All right, so now we'll jump right in to get additional information. Julianna, I'm going to come to you first. So you're actually heading into your final level of the LPGA Professionals Teaching and Education Program. And so just to give everyone a quick synopsis on that is, to become an LPGA professional, there are levels of education and tests, as well as the standard curriculum that you must go through to make it to that level. So just to ensure that you're equipped and you have that solid foundation and you're ready to welcome people adequately into the golf industry. So from that standpoint, and I mean, this is about the end, right?
Yeah,
What
we're almost there.
right? What's one thing you've learned that you feel would be valuable in your golf career long term?
There are a lot, but I think when I was thinking about this, one thing I've noticed throughout each level, whether, different components that we're learning and growing and being taught, is just the community and the support that we've had throughout each level. And that has just grown. We've met new professionals, new teachers, new students just in the program. And the amount of opportunities and knowledge and expertise that just keeps growing with each level, which is why I'm so excited for level 3. I can't wait to get out there and meet everyone in person. But I mean, the amount of knowledge and just, I think as we grow a career in golf, in this thing that we just love so much, you have to have a support system. And it's so great to have such a wonderful team of women together, whether you're moving across the country or wherever you're at. You can always reach out to these people if you need support on anything. And it's just been, I've had life stuff I've had to go through, and just the support, reaching out to them, whether it's teaching or students, anything at all. It's just, been the most consistent thing throughout all of these levels.
That's awesome. And that's something that we definitely pride ourselves on, and I'll echo that as well. It is definitely a level of family as it pertains to being in the professionals, because we were all there. We understand, and then we're all humans, right? So that support is absolutely awesome, and glad to hear that you're experiencing the same thing. Now, Julianna, I think you kind of struck gold in that you learned about the LPGA Professionals, or you not say you learned, but you started the program through Golf Galaxy. So when you look at how Golf Galaxy has assisted and supported you, can you share a little bit about like what they've done and some of their programs that's really helped you as you matriculated through the process?
Yeah, so that's a really fun story, actually. I started at Golf Galaxy as a part-time cashier. It was right after COVID. And originally I was going to go through physical therapy school, but everything was closed and we needed a job. Worked my way up and really fell in love with the more retail side, and then also found my passion for teaching. I've always loved teaching and helping people. And I told him, I was like, this is something that I want to do. I want to teach. I want to help people fall in love with golf. And they were like, we have this amazing LPGA reimbursement program. So they've been supporting me through classes. They actually helped fund my relocation down here to South Florida from Alabama, which has been so amazing. And, if there was any place to start my teaching career, it would definitely be in Florida, where it's just golf all the time. But it was a cool kind of unexpected journey, I guess. I had my own plan, but I think I really found my passion, and I'm just so grateful for Golf Galaxy, and also just to find it so young. I think it's interesting. I started my career through Golf Galaxy, not necessarily the grass side like a lot of people do. And it's just been a really cool experience to see it that way. But I feel really, really lucky to have been so supported.
That's amazing. That's awesome to hear. Great story. So let's see. So now you're working at Golf Galaxy. So let's jump to Nathanael, who he's on the management side, and he's hiring those LPGA professionals. So Nathanael, how would you say Golf Galaxy, in addition to what Julianna has shared, is actually helping individuals as they look to obtain LPGA certification and start, whether it's continue a career that they've jumped into or start a new career?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Julianna nailed it, right? Like that's our ethos, is help people play better golf, to be that trusted advisor, and to be able to take somebody like Julianna, who really didn't have that set in mind as her career path,
Right.
and to be able to not only introduce her to that, but to be able to support her the whole way to become LPGA certified. It's pretty awesome, right? There's something special about tapping into that 70+ year history of the LPGA and the value that those members bring to our organization. That history, in connection, they connect to every golfer that comes in our building in a way that we haven't been able to connect before. Like Lorin was saying, with the growth of young girls in the sport, and then also a 25% increase in the female golf population since COVID over the past 4 years, really, the LPGA presence in the building is more important to have than ever before. And to be able to help someone go through that whole process and see that whole journey, it's special.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Hats off to Golf Galaxy for making things happen. That's amazing. So I'm gonna now pull in Wendy. So Wendy, I have a little intel on you in terms of the Make Golf Your Career. And for those who aren't aware of it, it's really kind of, I guess, a subsidiary of the Make Golf Your Thing. Shall we say initiative? But then there's Make Golf Your Career, where there are several different avenues and areas available from a career perspective in the game of golf. So can you just share a little bit about your initial thoughts around why this initiative was needed and kind of how things unfolded?
Yeah, this is one of those things I think that really makes the golf industry unique. I think I've seen this throughout my career in golf, where the industry tends to come together for the betterment of the game and the industry as a whole versus being competitors with each other. Now, we may compete in some of our spaces, right? A little more directly, but I think there's this overarching sense and feeling across the industry that we're here to make the game better than when we came to the game initially. And Make Golf Your Thing was an industry-wide collaboration that was created in 2020 that really pulled everybody back together, that said, what can we do to support the industry, help create greater diversity within the sport to really propel us forward to the future? And it was really led by the commissioners across the 4 major properties, Mike Wan from the USGA, Molly Marcoux-Simon from the LPGA, Jay Monahan with the PGA Tour, and Seth Waugh from the PGA of America. And through that collaboration, they created this small army of people, which Kamille's a partner of mine in this collaboration, where we all came together and we focused on several different areas. One of those areas happened to be talent. Talent attraction as well as talent retention. And this is really where the Make Golf Your Career job board was born. Out of the notion and the thought that really to create greater diversity, we needed to create greater access and knowledge about the types of jobs that are available in the industry, help to educate people who might not have had access to playing our sport or being connected to our game, if you will. And so we created the Make Golf Your Career job board, and it will scrape industry-wide jobs that are available. We have a number of partner organizations that have helped us to fund this initiative. One of the great things about this job board is you can upload your resume. Maybe there's not a particular job that you're applying to at the moment, but you can upload your resume to the database, which allows any of our participating employers to access your resume if they have an opportunity available and to engage with you. There's also career support available on the site. Maybe you need some help creating that great resume that's going to get you that dream job that you're looking for. We do have some of those resources available as well. It's been a great resource. We're seeing growing, our participation is growing both from an applicant and an employer perspective as well. So we've been very excited so far and are looking forward to where it's going to take us in the future.
That's amazing. That's a great resource that really pulls a lot of things together. So definitely excited to hear that initiative was started and continue to live today. So that's awesome. Thanks,
And I
Wendy.
think Gwen's gonna make the link to the career page available so that people can get there relatively easily.
Yes, and she's also put it in the chat as well. So if those individuals that can get to that now, they can take a quick peek. All right. So now I'm going to go to Brittany, Ms. Brittany. So you're an LPGA Professionals member. We saw the 10-year pin. Congratulations. I love it. I love it. I love it. So how was your LPGA Professionals membership or certification prepared you for your current role? What you do?
Yeah, so obviously, just knowing the game as an LPGA member and the ins and outs of the game, not just being what golfers are looking for, what instructors need as far as support. Titleist is really big on relationships. So when I go to accounts, I'm not just, taking an order. I care about the professional I'm working with. I understand the busyness of the schedule. I understand that, they probably have a book full of lessons going on this afternoon. And so it gives me an advantage because I'm able to come in with a little bit more compassion and just understanding and support, which helps me to do my job well and helps them to run their businesses well. So yeah, being an LPGA member, I think definitely prepared me. Not only that, most of us LPGA members are not just golf professionals. We're mothers, we're parents, and in Titleist in the golf industry, you have to work hard. And I think just all of that together just helps you to be prepared to be able to do whatever career path you might have for yourself.
Great point. Great point. Great point. I love it. Love it. So that is key, because having general knowledge about the industry that you're in, it does present an advantage for you with relationship building, but also understanding and knowing what those needs are, right? So I think that's excellent. So staying in some of those same lines as it pertains to LPGA Professionals, the certification and the skill set that you develop from an LPGA Professionals certification, I'm just curious as to what are some of those skill sets or those intangible, shall I say, that kind of would make you want to, or makes you want to hire individuals with an LPGA Professional certification. And I'm going to throw this one back to Wendy. When you think about where you are today, Wendy, in your role, what would you say is that LPGA Professional certification or skill set that you get with that certification that attract you to individuals that you potentially want to hire?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of different things. I mean, certainly the breadth of knowledge and understanding of our industry as a whole in so many different areas, right? Whether it's engaging with a student, how to deal with people, it is showing that tenacity to go after something and achieve that certification. I think that drive is something that, really attracts me to LPGA Professionals. They have a goal and they're gonna achieve it, because you can't get this by taking a 10-minute quiz. This is something that requires commitment to do, and I think it shows that dedication to achieving that goal and really setting themselves apart, quite honestly.
Nice. And totally agree. Totally agree. Also, so what about you, Kamille? Whether it's a professional's certification or the skill sets that you're aware that they have because they hold a LPGA Professionals certification.
I could echo what Wendy just shared, but I think it's a passion and knowledge both about the game and a love of the sport. I think of areas in our organization where we've brought in individuals with former certifications or former tour players, and the ability to connect and better understand players, to better understand our championships and the communities we serve, and really golfers, because at the USGA, we're focused less on the number of championships we have, but how we service the game. I think one way the certification, whether it's teaching or playing, comes with that knowledge that just helps us feel and make the game better. So we get better with that knowledge and expertise. And I think when you compare a passion and a love of the game and something that's not taught per se, like in my case, but for many of you, it definitely rings true and we're able to do really great things.
Awesome. Good stuff. So that totally agree, and on all of those levels. Brittany, any you want to add that makes you feel comfortable when you see someone else with that LPGA certification that you know there's a particular skill set that they have that makes you want to hire them?
Yeah. So first disclaimer, I'm not hiring anybody as a sales rep. However, I do know that the things that I've learned in the LPGA have definitely helped me for, one of the ways I got into Titleist was I was first part of the diversity program, which is a way that Titleist supports diverse professionals in the industry. I think swing playing and how, clubs and all the different components of the game and of the industry and the things that we sell. So it gives you a wide variety of opportunity to get into a company like Titleist, because you don't have to be in sales. You can be in research and development. You can be in clubs. You can be a TPI institute instructor. And there's so many things you can do and be involved in. So I just think the exposure that the LPGA provided, the networking opportunity, the community, as was mentioned earlier, just the knowledge and the growth that I've gotten, not just from the lessons that I got in the LPGA, but just from association conversations with members like yourself and so many others that had knowledge that I just couldn't have gotten in 3 sessions. So I think all of it together work together to help and will help anyone who is in the LPGA be a good candidate for any organization.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'm gonna run rogue for a minute, and I'm gonna pull in Lorin. I have a question for you, Lorin. With the Proponent Group, this is an area in terms of understanding and engaging with lots of golf professionals, as well as helping writing resumes and things of that sort. Are there particular skill sets or any specialties that pop out to you that are the things that from an LPGA certification standpoint, one of those value adds or that thing that says, hey, here is why you want to be an LPGA professional, because this particular skill set is going to provide that range for employment for you going into the golf industry.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the LPGA is known as being thorough when it comes to training the basics of giving instruction, and that's the area we focus on, where I spend my time. And obviously, you also train for management and those pieces. Where the gap seems to be to me is that people come into the golf industry as coaches because they have technical skills. They either played at a high level or they've developed teaching skills, but they haven't developed business skills. And the one thing I think is the value add is if you have management skills, if you have the ability to build a brand, to understand basic marketing and sales, those sorts of pieces can make you hyper successful as opposed to being successful despite yourself. And I say that, I joke about that with coaches all the time, like your technical knowledge is worth a lot. Like your intellectual property as a person who coaches the game is worth a lot, and people will pay you for that, and you can get by just fine. But if you really want to excel in this industry, those management skills and those business skills can really make the difference between surviving and thriving. And that's where we try to focus a lot of our attention. But, it's not a natural thing. Most people don't come into the golf business because they're MBAs. They come into the golf business because they've been around the game and played the game. And that's sometimes puts them at a bit of a disadvantage, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. And great points, right? Those other soft skills are definitely necessary as well. So one last question before we jump into our Q&A, and I am going to, I'll give this one to Kamille and Nathanael. So what types of roles does your company currently have that that you would say would be a good fit? So we talked about the skill set, right? But your company in particular, and actually I'll add you to this as well, Wendy. But what are the types of roles that you would say your company has today that an LPGA professional would match the skill set? Whether or not a certification is required is one thing, but those individual type roles.
Yeah, I'll go ahead with that if you don't mind. Like for the LGP, there's multiple options, right? And I think that's what's so cool about even like going through the LPGA. Like, you know, you learn management, you learn teaching, you learn quite a bit, right? And a lot of that can translate into the world of Golf Galaxy. So for the LPGA professional that has a true passion around teaching and helping golfers better their best, I mean, a teaching professional role, you know, would be ideal for that individual, right? All of our teaching professionals work a 40-hour week, which is a lot different than green grass. And that week really revolves around teaching and heavily involved with community connection as well. So really that diving into that community piece, being a pillar in the community and that connection is very important. And then for those that, you know, enjoy the business acumen side of things or like that management, like a management role, you know, leading a team of individuals, leading a team of, you know, teaching professionals, of soft lines, you know, specialists and club fitters is also a really good option. And if, you know, if technology and you know, fitting somebody, you know, to get them into the right equipment to better their game is kind of your wheelhouse, you know, being a certified club fitter or even like a master club fitter or a district club fitting expert would be a really good option as well.
Excellent. All right. Wendy?
You know, in ours are a little bit different in that and they're not as focused really in the game itself. But when you look at the value that having the understanding of the game of golf as a whole brings in our organization, I mean, thinking about our communications and our digital side of the business, some of the analytics that we're doing, how do we engage with other fans and others that enjoy this wonderful sport? How do we broaden that fan base? Even in our player relations side of our business, interacting with our players. I know our concept is very new for those who don't know. If you're not familiar, Tomorrow Sports is the parent company of TGL, which is the new team golf concept, simulated golf concept with Tiger and Rory, along with Mike McCarley. TGLgolf.com will give you a little bit more background and what it really looks like. But when I think about this group of individuals, the business side of golf really comes through, but marrying that background and your knowledge within our sport is really critical across so many different areas of our business. The media side, the communications piece, player relations, competitions, are all areas that would really benefit from that background.
Awesome. Great points. And lots of different roles, right? So it's good to see the breadth because it's not just teaching, right?
It's not just teaching. You're exactly right. Understanding how tournaments work, understanding how we engage with fans that have this love and this passion and really bringing it forward is really critical across the spectrum of roles.
Right. Yep. And I assumed it's very similar to the USGA, but Kamille, you want to share?
Yeah, I would echo some of what Wendy said and even what Lorin mentioned about where being a professional, where you have to master your business skills, your ability to sell your brand. I can say at a high level, there are a number of departments where the skill set of an LPGA professional would be valuable, whether it's in our player relations or player services department, with our championships team, thinking about our rules team. Someone who's got a knowledge and an understanding of the game could really go far as how we shape rules and how we communicate those out to players and golfers alike. With the launch of our national development program, there will be opportunities for future state coaches as pilots get rolled out and as we look to expand our national development team. And so that would be another great space. And if I think of more in the present right now, we have an assistant director of marketing open right now. So more on the business side and maybe not so golf focused, where someone with a golf background as a professional could come in and help think about how we view our brand, how we communicate our brand, how we partner with others to tell that story. So those are just a few examples, but I really see it being endless.
That's awesome. And it really, all of you all's, your input just really shares how it's the overall understanding of the industry, but even in individual roles, you have an opportunity to impact the entire business and the entire organization with that, that information. Now, Kamille, Little Bird told me that you're considering pursuing LPGA Professionals membership. I got excited. So you're already working in the golf industry. What led you to consider LPGA Professionals membership?
The birdie, you heard correctly. Maybe you're partially to blame, but I did have an opportunity to participate on a panel with you and Maria Marino back in May for the African American Golfers Hall of Fame. And I think hearing your story, knowing where I'm at in my life, in my community, I work for the USGA, but I can tell people that, and they assume I work for the LPGA or the PGA. It doesn't matter. They just think I'm golf. And then everyone assumes I can teach them how to play golf because I'm a Black woman working in golf. But as I'm getting ready to welcome my last and final child, who is a female, I think about my own kids and having those role models and that representation in the teaching space and not being able to find that where I'm at right now. And golf is something that I see that I will continue to do long term. I didn't start off a golfer, but I'm like a real golfer now. I golf in between kids and all the things when I can find time. So there is a love there. I've coached youth sports in the past. And if I think about the coaching role I've had with adults, whether it was career or in other aspects, being able to connect with people and allow them to see themselves in spaces and to connect with a game that I love is something that I want to commit to. So I know there's a road ahead and I will probably leverage many of you. But I do think that it is the next evolution. And even if I'm working in golf, it's a different realm of what I'm doing right now. So it excites me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do we have an applause button for? Yeah. We love LPGA professional membership, folks. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all so very much for sharing during the panel discussion. I think you've shared a lot of great information. And so I want to pause and see if there are any questions that anyone has for either Lorin, Wendy, Julianna, Nathanael, Kamille, Brittany. Want to make sure we answer all of your questions.
There was one question about what Golf Galaxy is looking for when it comes to LPGA pros, but I think that was kind of answered. And it sounds like Julianna started right early in her teaching abilities and teaching knowledge and was right in there with Golf Galaxy from the beginning. So don't be afraid, jump in there, I think is the answer to that question.
Yeah, that's magnificent.
And I will throw in there on that note, we absolutely love taking, individuals like Julianna through the program and seeing that whole journey. Being able to pay for that for individuals it's awesome. It really is a good way to go.
Yeah, and I know several people who've actually matriculated through that process with Golf Galaxy, and I think it is a phenomenal program. So where would you say that they should start? Now, we'll have some additional information from Golf Galaxy, but, sitting in your role, where do you think they should actually start if they say, listen, I want to know more about the Golf Galaxy and how I can be engaged, whether I'm an LPGA amateur and I'm considering a golf professional, or I am already working in the industry and I think I like Golf Galaxy. Like, where would you recommend that they start?
Yeah, a couple ways. One, visit a local store, speak with the management staff that's there, or even with the teammates, or reach out to myself directly, or Zach, who everybody will meet here in a few minutes. You can reach out to me anytime, and I'm happy to discuss career paths and what openings we have available at the time.
Awesome. Excellent. And so just to Nathaniel's point, you'll get contact information and follow-up information for everyone at the end of in the next 24 hours for this particular session. So you'll have an opportunity to reach out to everyone and follow up, and you'll get additional information. There will also be a survey, so we ask that you complete the survey as well, so that we're aware of your needs and any questions that you may have. So now I want to transition. First of all, I want to not just applaud Golf Galaxy for being the sponsor for tonight, but really applauding them for jumping in and making people's dreams come true, making their second career choices or first career choices become a reality. And that's something that I think is invaluable on so many hands. So I want to take a moment and turn it over to Zach Mays with Golf Galaxy and give him an opportunity to share more about the details of their employment program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ashanta. And first, I want to thank the LPGA and Gwen for giving us the opportunity to be a partner and to have representation from Julianna and Nathanael. And like they've mentioned, Golf Galaxy is committed to and invested in growing the game, whether that is through LPGA Professionals, through the USGA, through junior golf, any way, shape, or form. That is our commitment as a group. In this case, we would love to do so through LPGA Professionals by increasing their presence as leaders and teachers in our buildings. As it's been mentioned earlier, we've had great success. Julianna is a prime example. I noticed a few other names on the call today that have LPGA member or LPGA professionals that are currently teaching in our stores. Lisa and Julie have done an awesome job with us. And we want it to be known that outside of our greater goals as a company, that one of our main focuses is growing the female representation in teaching and managing our buildings. It's something that we've identified for a long time as being as a place that we've been underrepresented, and now we're really starting to dig and fix it. Right, we've done a great job. We've grown LPGA Professionals that 107 stores. We've grown that LPGA presence almost double in the last year and a half, which we couldn't be more proud of. And we want to triple it, and we want to quadruple it. We want half of all teachers in Golf Galaxy to be LPGA Professionals. We want more store managers. And so, as again, a little redundant, but as we've discussed, reaching out to Nathanael, reaching out to myself, reaching out to Julianna, if you're in a similar circumstance as she is and feel like she might be the route that you'd like to take to contact to learn more about what we have. We've got golf professional roles open across the country. We've got a couple store manager roles. We're opening new stores by the double digits every year, which are going to create, again, a lot more opportunities. So as we continue our relationship with the LPGA, we'd like to create just a seamless pipeline. And we urge everyone who has any interest to reach out to any of us, the three of us, to learn more.
That's magnificent. And Zach, I'm continuing to applaud y'all, really covering travel, covering education. Those are some of the barriers that hinder people from actually entering into the golf industry as a career. So you've really removed a lot of those barriers. And so I applaud you for that. And it's exciting to hear the growth of LPGA professionals that you've had in your organization. And I'm excited to hear, too, that that's something that you're continuing. It gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling.
We love it. We love it. That's our goal, right? And with that associate program that we started to reimburse young ladies or ladies, period, that are interested in teaching in our stores, we couldn't be more proud of the opportunities that we've given some folks that otherwise wouldn't have had those options. And, we feel as a partner to the game of golf, we know, listen, I would love every single LPGA associate who goes through the program with us to work with us until the day they retire. But we know that's not going to be the case, right? But we hope that they'll be able to tell a really good story and help kind of bolster our brand as they move through their professional careers. And we're just a proponent to the game of golf, period, and helping in any way, shape, or form that we can.
That's awesome. Magnificent. Well, Zach, thank you so much. We appreciate your continued support of this particular event. And those LPGA professionals current and that as well that will probably enter that pipeline for the future. So definitely want to say thank you, and thank you to the Golf Galaxy organization for sponsoring the event tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Yeah, excellent. Right now, so some of you, you may have questions about what are the next steps. So we've shared from an industry perspective, what are some of the roles, the skill sets, and things of that sort. But we want to take a moment to share some of the details around becoming an LPGA professional, because it's our goal for this particular event. And so we actually have our end all, everything, be all knowledge of everything, Gwen Checo. Gwen is like the hardest working woman in the LPGA ever, everywhere. So we want to take a moment to have her share additional information on becoming an LPGA professional with you.
Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you for everything that you did tonight to bring this event together. And hello, everyone. I'm Gwen Checo. I'm the Director of Operations and Education with the LPGA Professionals. I am also a member of the association for going on 20 years. And I started out as a college golf coach, and a member invited me to join, and with my love of golf, I did play college athletics and college golf, and then thought I wanted to be an art education teacher. And that member said, "No, you do not. You want to be a golf teacher." And I said, "I do." And she said, "Yes, you do." And I said, "Okay, let's go for it." And so that wrapped me into college golf coaching for a few years, which I dearly loved, and love all of our college coaches that are members of our association. And then found the opportunity to come to LPGA headquarters and run our certification program, which is near and dear to my heart, as I went through the journey of learning on the job and how to navigate all of those 19-year-olds who were way smarter than me and way faster than me. And I was just trying to keep one step ahead of them. And I truly believe that the LPGA and my mentors in the program helped me stay one step ahead of those really smart kids. So as you think about this opportunity, and I loved all of our panelists. Thank you all for being on tonight. And I've gotten to know all of you over the years just through my membership, and then also my work with the LPGA and the many, many opportunities that are available. I mean, I was a golf coach, but now I'm sitting here in operations. I do anything from marketing, sales, and to helping to structure our certification so that it's the latest and greatest information for teaching coaching, and then partnering with groups like Proponent Group to provide continuing education opportunities for our members in areas of business where Lorin has really captured that part of the market to help our instructors not only be the best teachers in the industry, but also to run the best businesses in the industry. And then partners with like Golf Galaxy for all of our instructors who are looking for a place to teach indoors or be a teacher all the time and maybe don't want to run their own business. Lots of opportunities there. So to find information about LPGA professionals and going forward and getting started, go to lpga.com. And I'm going to share my screen real quick so that you can find us on lpga.com, because, the tour is really important and really big. And so we put that out there in front to make sure that you see the best athletes in the world on their stage. But we also want to find our LPGA professionals. So when you come to lpga.com, that's a really easy one to find. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find LPGA professionals, and that is us. Those are not the tour players. That's our teaching professionals worldwide, and you can find lots of information about programs and general membership information but also directly, how do I become a certified professional? What's the the eligibility for that? And what's the schedule of events? There are 3 levels of certification, like Ashante talked about earlier. There are eligibility requirements. So just come on over here to this. It'll also even give you, it'll tell you what the applicant program is, what the associate program is. Maybe you have some exemptions. Have you already been working in the industry for some time? Or did you play on the LPGA tour? Or are you a PGA of America member? There are exemptions available for that. And so lots of opportunities and information here, as well as our schedule of classes. So your first step is to kind of come here, maybe see where you fit in. If you're not sure, our contact information is here as well. And you can email us. I'll put this in the chat box as professionals.members@lpga.com, and someone on the team will get back to you on, it's hard for me to talk and type at the same time, but I'm going to make it. And, but someone on the team will get back with you really quickly about where do you start, and even financial aid, right? Maybe you're not working at a Golf Galaxy, or there's not one where you can get a job at near you. We do have financial aid as well available to members of the association. So you can get all of that information and eligibility here right on lpga.com and get started. It does take about 18 months if you want to go through the program continuously and have that time. If you have lots of kids or lots of other responsibilities and don't have that much time, typically I took about 3 years to get through the program. It is online for the most part now, with a final program in person. So you do get to meet your fellow members in person at the end, but we also create lots of opportunities for you to connect online. Like Julianna was saying, we do try and create that community in this new virtual space so that you can really take this program from anywhere. We have members in 30 different countries. It used to be about 24. We went online and now we're in about 30 countries. So we have members from China to Dubai, South Africa, all coming and participating in this program at the same time. So you'll get to meet women from all over the world that have a like-minded mentality towards teaching, training, and the love of golf. I think, were there any of the questions you had, Ashante, or did I kind of cover how to get started?
I think you nailed it. We have about 2 minutes. Is there a question on the information that Gwen just shared that anyone has? You can put it in the chat. But I think that was an excellent run of the mill.
Awesome. And I was on time. Look at that. Love it.
Awesome. So this brings us to the end of our session for tonight. I know we've covered a lot of information, but just know that you'll get an email with additional information and follow-up contact information for everyone that you've heard from tonight. And as you've heard everyone say, they'll be happy to hear from you. So please do not hesitate to use those resources. Really putting the power in your own hands. Everyone is excited about the golf industry. Lorin has really helped us to understand that it's still booming, right? In our new post-pandemic era, the golf industry is still doing great. So this is definitely an opportunity or a good time to enter the golf industry, a great time to be an LPGA Professionals member. And again, thank you all for joining, and we look forward to hearing from all of you. We appreciate your time, and you all have a great evening.
Thank you, Ashante. Thank you.